It is a Tuesday morning. You walk to the ATM to take out $60 for groceries. You slide in your card, you punch in your PIN, and the screen says insufficient funds. That cannot be right. Your Social Security was deposited last week. Your pension payment came in 3 days ago. There should be over $4,000 in that account. You drive to the bank, you wait in line, you sit down with someone at a desk, and they tell you something that makes your stomach drop. Your account has been frozen, every dollar in it. The IRS placed a levy on your account. The bank cannot let you touch a single cent. You cannot pay your rent. You cannot buy your medication. You cannot even buy dinner tonight. And then the banker says something that makes it even worse. They say the bank is required by law to hold your money for 21 days. And if you do not resolve this within that window, the bank will send every frozen dollar directly to the IRS. This is real. This is legal. And in 2026, it is happening to retirees across this country. But here is what most people do not know. It does not have to happen. And if it has already happened to you, it may not be too late to stop it. I am Edward. I am a senior policy analyst and retirement finance expert. And today I am going to walk you through exactly how the IRS can freeze your bank account, the specific sequence of letters they must send you before they can do it, and the exact forms you need to file to stop it or reverse it. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this video, because I am going to reveal a protection that most seniors do not know exists. It is a single IRS form that can freeze the IRS before they freeze you. Most people have never heard of it, and it could save your entire bank account. Let's start with a story. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 71 years old. She lives in Arizona. She retired 8 years ago after working 34 years as a school librarian. She gets Social Security every month. She gets a small pension from the school district. She lives modestly. She pays her bills on time. But 4 years ago, Margaret made a mistake on her taxes. She withdrew money from an old retirement account to help her daughter pay for a surgery. She did not realize that the full withdrawal amount was taxable. Her tax preparer missed it too. The IRS assessed a deficiency. With penalties and interest, she owed about $11,000. Margaret got a letter from the IRS. It was called a CP-14. It said she owed money and had 10 days to pay. Margaret panicked. She did not have $11,000. She put the letter in a drawer and told herself she would figure it out later. 8 weeks later, another letter came, a CP-501. It said the same thing, pay now. She put it in the drawer. Then another one came, a CP-503, then one marked urgent, a CP-504. Margaret could not bring herself to open them. She was scared. She did not know what to do. She thought if she could not pay, there was no point in responding. 5 weeks after that last urgent letter, she got the final one. It was called an LT-11. It said final notice of intent to levy and notice of your right to a hearing. It gave her 30 days to respond. Margaret did not respond. 3 weeks later, she went to the ATM, and her account was frozen. Every dollar, $4,200, her rent money, her grocery money, her medication money, all of it locked. And the worst part? If Margaret had just called the IRS at any point during those months of letters, she could have set up a payment plan for as little as $22 in setup fees. She could have asked them to temporarily suspend collection because of financial hardship. She could have even settled the debt for less than she owed. But she did not know any of that because nobody told her. Margaret's story is fictional, but every single rule in her story is real. Every notice, every timeline, every dollar amount comes directly from irs.gov. And I am going to walk you through all of it right now so that what happened to Margaret never happens to you. Let's start with the most important thing you need to understand. The IRS cannot freeze your bank account out of nowhere. There is a legally required sequence of warning letters they must send you first. This is federal law under Internal Revenue Code, Section 6331. And according to the IRS's own website, The IRS will usually levy only after 4 requirements are met. They assess the tax and sent you a notice and demand for payment. You neglected or refused to pay. They sent you a final notice of intent to levy and notice of your right to a hearing at least 30 days before the levy. And they notified you that they may contact third parties regarding your tax liability. Here is the exact sequence. The first letter is called a CP-14. It is your initial tax bill. The IRS must send this within 60 days of assessing your tax. It demands payment within 10 days. About 8 weeks later, if you have not responded, they send a CP-501. This is a reminder. Pay within 10 days. About 8 weeks after that, a CP-503 arrives. It says immediate action required. Then comes the CP-504. This is the one marked urgent. This is the official notice of intent to levy under the Internal Revenue Code. It warns that the IRS intends to levy your wages, your bank accounts, or your state tax refund. And then, about 5 weeks later, comes the final notice. It is called an LT11 or Letter 1058. This is the one that changes everything. It is your final notice of intent to levy and notice of your right to a hearing. Now, here is the critical detail. From the date on that LT11 notice, you have exactly 30 days to request what is called a collection due process hearing. While that hearing request is pending, the IRS cannot proceed with the levy. They are legally blocked. The form to request this hearing is called Form 15153. You can download it for free from irs.gov. And filing it within 30 days of that final notice is quite possibly the single most important action you can take to protect your bank account. Now let me explain what happens if the levy does go through. When the IRS levies your bank account, your bank freezes every dollar that was in the account at the moment the levy arrived. Not what comes in after, just what was there at that moment. According to irs.gov, the Internal Revenue Code provides a 21-day waiting period for the bank to comply with the levy. The IRS itself states that this waiting period is intended to allow you time to contact the IRS and arrange to pay the tax or notify the IRS of errors in the levy. 21 days, that is your window. If you act within those 21 days, you may be able to get the levy released. If you do not, the bank surrenders the money to the IRS, and it is gone. Now let me tell you something that shocks most seniors when they hear it. Most people believe their Social Security benefits can never be touched. And for private debts like credit card bills, medical bills, or car loans, that is true. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau confirms that banks must automatically protect 2 months' worth of directly deposited federal benefits from garnishment by private creditors. But the IRS is not a private creditor. The IRS operates under completely different rules. According to irs.gov, Social Security retirement and survivor benefits are subject to a 15% levy through the Federal Payment Levy Program. And here is the part that catches people off guard. The IRS states, and I quote, "The IRS may levy your Social Security benefits regardless of the amount." This is different from the 1996 Debt Collection Improvement Act, which states that the first $750 of monthly Social Security benefits is off limits to satisfy non-tax debts. That means for IRS tax debt, there is no $750 floor. 15% of your Social Security check can be taken. If your monthly benefit is $2,000, the IRS can take $300 every single month until the debt is paid. There is some relief here, though. Before the IRS levies your Social Security benefits, they must send you a specific notice. It is either a CP-91 or CP-298. It is called the Final Notice Before Levy on Social Security Benefits, and it gives you 30 days to make arrangements before the 15% deduction begins. Also, as of February 2011, the IRS excludes certain low-income Social Security recipients from the levy program if their income falls at or below federal poverty guidelines. Now, there is one more consequence I need to warn you about, and this one affects seniors who travel. If your unpaid tax debt, including penalties and interest, exceeds $66,000 in 2026, the IRS can certify your debt to the U.S. State Department, and the State Department can deny your passport application, refuse to renew your passport, or even revoke your current passport. The IRS sends you a notice called a CP-508C before this happens, and if you are applying for a passport when the certification hits, the State Department holds your application for 90 days to give you time to resolve the debt. But here is the good news. If you are on a payment plan, if you have a pending offer in compromise, if you have requested a collection due process hearing, or if your account is in currently not collectible status because of hardship, your debt is excluded from passport certification. They cannot touch your passport if you have taken action. Now let me tell you about one more rule that gives you hope even when the situation feels hopeless. The IRS does not have forever to collect from you. According to IRS.gov, the IRS generally has 10 years from the date your tax was assessed to collect the tax and any associated penalties and interest from you. After that 10-year window, called the collection statute expiration date, the debt expires. Now be aware, that 10-year clock can be paused in certain situations. Filing for bankruptcy pauses it. Submitting an offer in compromise pauses it. Requesting an installment agreement pauses it. So you should always understand the trade-offs before taking action. But the key point remains. This debt is not forever. All right, now you understand how the IRS bank levy works, the notice sequence, the 21-day window, the Social Security rules, and the passport threat. Here are the 3 steps I need you to take right now to protect yourself. Step 1. Open every single piece of mail from the IRS today. I know it is scary. I know the letters feel threatening, but every letter the IRS sends is actually a chance to protect yourself. If you have a CP-14 or CP-501 sitting in a drawer right now, open it. Call the number on the notice. Ask about a payment plan. You can apply for an installment agreement online at irs.gov or by filing Form 9465. If you owe $50,000 or less, you can even do it entirely online. And once a payment plan is pending, the IRS is generally prohibited from levying. That one phone call could be the thing that saves your bank account. If you have received the final notice, the LT11 or Letter 1058, file Form 153 to request a collection due process hearing immediately. You have 30 days from the date on that notice. While your hearing request is pending, the IRS cannot levy. If you miss the 30-day window, you can still file for an equivalent hearing within 1 year. It will not stop the levy, but it keeps your appeal rights alive. Step 2. If your bank account has already been frozen, act within the 21-day window. Call the IRS immediately at 800-829-1040. Tell them the levy is causing you economic hardship. Be prepared to explain that you cannot pay for food, rent, medication, or other basic living expenses because of the freeze. The IRS may release the levy if it is causing immediate economic hardship. They will likely ask you to complete Form 433F, the Collection Information Statement, which details your income and expenses. Have your bank statements, bills, and income information ready. If the IRS will not help you through normal channels, file Form 911 with the Taxpayer Advocate Service. This is an independent organization within the IRS that exists specifically to help taxpayers facing hardship. Their phone number is 877-777-4778. They can intervene when the normal system has failed you. And if the IRS levied your account by mistake and your bank charged you a fee for processing it, and the error was on the IRS side, you can file Form 8546 to get those bank charges reimbursed. Step 3. If you truly cannot pay, do not hide. Ask for relief. The IRS has 3 official options for people who cannot pay. First, you can apply for an offer in compromise using Form 656B. This lets you settle your tax debt for less than you owe if the IRS determines they cannot reasonably collect more from you. The application fee is $205, but it is waived if you qualify as low income. You can check your eligibility for free using the IRS Offer in Compromise Pre-Qualifier tool at irs.gov OIC tool. And while the IRS is evaluating your offer, they suspend collection activities. Second, you can request currently not collectible status. If your financial situation is so tight that paying the tax would prevent you from meeting basic living expenses, the IRS may temporarily suspend all collection activity on your account. The debt does not go away. Penalties and interest still accrue, but no levies, no wage garnishments, and no passport certification while you are in CNC status. Third, even if you cannot pay the full amount, you can set up a partial payment installment agreement, paying what you can each month while the 10-year collection statute runs. The worst thing you can do, the absolute worst, is nothing. Ignoring these letters is what triggers the levy. Responding to them is what stops it. Now I need to tell you something from my heart. I know this is frightening. I know that receiving a letter from the IRS can feel like the ground is opening up beneath you. And I know that for many of you, the idea of calling the IRS feels impossible, especially right now when wait times are long and the system feels overwhelming. But you have rights, real, legal, enforceable rights. The right to a hearing, the right to request hardship relief, the right to settle for less, the right to an independent advocate. These are not suggestions. They are written into federal law, and you have me. I am on your side. I am here to make sure you understand every rule, every form, and every deadline so that no one can take what is yours without you having a fair chance to fight back. But I have to be honest with you. YouTube cannot send you a notification the day a new IRS rule changes. The algorithm decides who sees my videos and when. And when it comes to your bank account, your social security, or your passport, you cannot afford to find out 2 weeks too late. That is why I created the Global Senior Alerts official WhatsApp channel. Click the link in the description below this video right now. When you join, you will be able to download a free Senior Benefits Protection Guide. It lists every form number I mentioned today, every phone number, every deadline, and every step you need to take, all in one simple printable document. You will also receive real-time alerts whenever a rule changes that affects your Social Security, your taxes, your pension, your bank accounts, your insurance, or your travel rights. Straight to your phone, no algorithm, no delay. You worked your entire life for the money in that bank account. You earned every dollar of that Social Security check, and nobody, not the IRS, not a debt collector, not anyone, should be able to take it from you without you knowing your rights. Join the channel, download the guide, protect what is yours. I am Edward, and I will see you in the next one.